All right, Red, we should be live right now, Red. We on YouTube, my brother. Can you
All right.
hear me, Red? You hear me, right, my brother?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. All right, so we live. Let's see what's going on in the chat room real quick. Okay, let me turn this down. Peace to everybody in the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat before we get started. I'm trying to figure out something real quick. Okay. All right, so let's get started. All right, so I got a double header for y'all tonight. I'm with my brother Red Pill real quick. Then right after the interview with Red Pill, at 11 o'clock, I'm gonna be live with the brother Billy Carson. So yeah, me and Red got a lecture coming up actually. I'm about to let the brother speak on it. Let me just put this on the screen real quick for those just joining. Welcome. Let's see. All right, so I got the flyer on the screen. The Weaponization of Hip Hop. What's next? Presented by Reality Speaks. Shout out to Reality Speaks. Shout out to the brother Jabari. This is going to be tomorrow, actually, from 7 to 10 p.m. and the doors open up at 6 p.m. The tickets are $25 in advance, $30 at the door. That's an amazing price to see Dr. Wesley Muhammad and Red Pill speak. And this is at Pleasant Hope Baptist Church. That's at 430 East Belvedere Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. And for more info, you guys can call 410-303-4120. Red man, like I said, welcome to the show.
Indeed, peace to the family.
In terms of hip hop, I mean, shit. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. I see everybody in the chat right now. What's your thoughts, Red, on hip hop? You see, every year another young brother passes away. It seems as though you guys have been talking about the weaponization of hip hop, not only through the lyrics, they're talking about violence, but as far as with the perks and talking about the uses of drugs and these pills and everything. I remember me and you did a video with talking about Future years ago, and every year somebody's passing away. You know, when a brother like you says it, you just a hater. Like, nigga, you a hater. Like, yo, stop hating. And I think that kind of discourages brothers, not you personally, but older brothers or just people in general from even commenting on what's going on in hip hop. So talk to me about this idea of you always hating every time. You always get accused of hating every time you offer criticism for the hip hop culture.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't get that I'm hating. You know, I might hear it here and there, but that's something that I don't feel like it. So it doesn't really matter, or it doesn't register like that. What I do and how I distinguish myself in reporting about the culture is I make it relatable. You know, when I talk about the actions of the 18-year-olds and the 19-year-olds and the 20-year-olds with the way that they are, you know, expressing themselves, and what A.A. Rashid coined the word aesthetic nihilism, right? And the aesthetic nihilism, that's a definition of what we see. The definition of aesthetics is a set of principles concerned with the nature and appreciation of beauty, especially in art. It's a branch of philosophy that deals with the principles of beauty and artistic taste. Aesthetics, how you dress it up, how it looks. Nihilism, the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless, right? So we have a culture that is adapting the aesthetic nihilistic mind state the same way that my generation adapted it. You know what the aesthetics was, Rich? We were wearing Ralph Lipschitz or Ralph Lauren, right? Polo. we were dressed up in $1,000 multi, you know, the whole fit might be about $20,000 if you know how to put it together right. And we're in a hood with the wolves, right? But we were living our lives on the edge. You know, we were flirting with death because we were in the underworld. So to us, life was meaningless. The life that they were trying to sell us in school, that is. So we were out here recreating life the way that we wanted to live it by our terms. So being of that cloth, when I see the youth of today and, you know, and they're interacting with remember, it's levels to it. So now in the 2020s or 2019, the way that it's being expressed is at a way more, it's more in your face. It's more, it's devolved into drugs usage, right? Prior to that, we were bragging, you know, our generation was bragging about selling the drugs, right?
Does that make it any better when we talking about the weaponization of hip hop?
Well, that's the paradox of hip hop. You feel me? That's the paradox. You know, it's dreams and nightmares. It doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any worse. It's still the snake eating its tail, right? It's a perpetual cycle. You feel me?
Right.
And the fact that the pendulum is swinging to the place where the youth are now the actual drug users, to me, that's karma. To me, that's the, you know, that's something, it's the pendulum, it's the procession of the equinox, it's the dissension, it's the devolving, you know, from being the seller to now the children being the users. So when I speak about it, it's never in a sense where it could be mistaken for hate. I'm just identifying it because one thing that I know, a lot of people our age and older, they have they're unfortunately, a lot of the information that they're able to receive about this generation is through the lens of the media, you know, and through the lens, a biased lens of a bipartisan party of people who hate our people. So sometimes you got to give them the breakdown of what's going on behind the scenes or what's going on with the youth from a perspective that they're familiar with, you know?
Indeed. One thing that you know, me, you, Blue, Mama Pill, KT, 19 Keys, we all did a interview the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again?
I said the Oracle.
Right,
system.
Oracle. Yeah, indeed. We did an interview the other day, and one of the things we touched on was Dr. Umar Johnson's interview on the Breakfast Club. And one of the things he said that I didn't mention during that interview is that the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, the NAACPs, they have gotten replaced by Black entertainers and Black musicians. So when I was coming up and something happened within the Black community, Al spoke about it. Jesse spoke about it. Somebody from the NAACP spoke about it. Now they're going, and now the rappers speak. We see T.I. using big words. And shout out to T.I. You know, we see Killer Mike talking about it. We may see, you know, somebody else talking, Kanye talking about things. Is that part of the weaponization of hip hop, or is that rappers stepping up like how we always wanted them to step up and talk about social issues?
It's twofold. Once again, there's pros and cons to everything, right? And on one hand, what we're witnessing is a testament to a lot of the groundwork, a lot of the, you know, a lot of the knowledge that was disseminated through this 10-year period, starting in the early 2000s, but definitely from 2010 going into 2020. the way that this generation, you know, because we're not separated. So if a Jay-Z is from my generation, or if a Sean Puff Daddy Combs, they're 50, right? So if they're that generation, but all of the artists that we came up with, we can never separate ourselves from these artists. So the same way that you see them, they see you. That's something we always have to remember. So when this generation started to wake up and get woke and become conscious, and the narrative completely changed, because I'm doing my 10-year, you know, I'm going back into the memory banks, and I'm like, wow, this was not like, I'm looking at old episodes of Making the Band and whatnot. You know, I'm looking at old episodes of the Nick Cannon. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, the reality that we exist in right now. Remember, we exist in a reality, a consciousness. Remember, all is mental. So a collective consciousness that we exist in has Jay-Z, Nick Cannon, Charlemagne the God, everybody woke, right? At least the lights is on in the house. This was not the case 10 years ago. I'm not going to blame this on a nefarious scheme by, you know, Ed Buckingham on the left, you know, the liberals. You know, I can't necessarily say that they're responsible for that. But what I do know is that we've also entered an age where the quote unquote average, there's the conscious person is on a popularity par with an artist. So it's not about, yo, don't let the artist speak for us. No, you got conscious people out here that's more lit than artists. What you talking about? You got Umar doing 1 million in a few days on the Breakfast Club. Yo, those metrics get counted by the world. You understand?
Right.
They pay attention. This whole thing is about numbers right now. This is about numbers. This is not about anything else. This is a numbers game. So the numbers that they saw the ADOS doing, automatically you etch yourself into a tier, into a place in society, in this new world that we live in. So when niggas do their numbers, people pay attention. Let's be clear. We live in a number-driven, light-driven, technical age right now. This ain't Kansas, Dorothy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a whole nother reality that we live in. And for the people who have adapted to said reality and made the jump to when 2020, they've went digital and they've adapted, you know, then it's kudos to them. But the people, you can't fake being awoke, Rich. You can't fake necessarily being intelligent. You can't fake being spiritual too tough. I mean, some people, they're charlatans. Let me not confuse the people. You could fake it, but in this day and time that we live in, you can't get it, you know, it's but only so long. So for the people who are not really about that life, they're going to expose themselves. We see people's actions and what they doing versus what they're not doing. But I'm also seeing people doing some genuine shit that I'm like, you know, I would rather deal with the woke shit than to deal with the shit that you was dealing with when we got introduced to you as an artist.
Right.
We have to always be mindful of what we ask for, and when we receive it, niggas is like, oh, it's a conspiracy. They, you know, why can't they be on the wave? You know, why can't they not have been influenced the same way that you got influenced when you had your red pill moment, when you had your aha moment? Because once you wake up, you can't necessarily unwake up. And the reality that we live in right now, especially with the psyops that was taking place through the media and all of this other stuff, where they had niggas who formerly was tough calling white people supremacists and supreme, you know, this fear campaign that the people have been going under for since Trayvon Martin, I would say, up until now, it's forced every single person with melanin who's operating on a theta or alpha waves, whose brain is at some frequency that's normalized. You have to pay attention. And then you can't look away, and you look this way, you're gonna get smacked with an Umar video. You look that way, you're gonna get smacked with a Tariq video. You look up, you're gonna get smacked with a Brother Rich video. You look behind you, there's a Sinetta on your ass. You know what I mean? Like, there's an echo chamber that's surrounding Black America, and we're on the outskirts of that echo chamber. You understand? We're on the ring of Saturn, and we are that echo chamber, and we're actually feeding millions upon millions of people. Although it's some it's some food deserts out there, and niggas will not drink. They won't drink their water. But granted, Rome wasn't built in one day. If you look at the numbers and the metrics, that the problem with our community is that we're not playing this new world. We're not doing it right. We don't have metrics. We don't have data. We're not crunching that shit. We're operating at a very slow pace with reality. Niggas is just getting off of the whole historic kick that was, consuming our minds for mad years.
Indeed. What I want to talk to you about is that, and shout out to everybody in the chat room. This is a quick show tonight.
Yeah, real quick.
Just wanted to really promote this lecture coming up tomorrow. Let me put the flyer on the screen with my brother Red Pill and Wesley Muhammad. Dr. Wesley Muhammad couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately, but he will be in person tomorrow in Baltimore. So if you're in that area, make sure you come out. It's from 7 to 10 p.m. The weaponization of hip hop. This is something that's of extreme importance to our community. And I'm glad that Dr. Wesley Muhammad and the brother Red Pill is touching on it. So definitely come out, show support. A real quick announcement, because I keep forgetting every time I say I'm going to say it. Keys to Inner Space is now on Patreon. So for those who have been waiting, this is the book that's out of print. You can't find it nowhere. The audio book is on Patreon. So I advise everybody to go over to my Patreon page. This is one of the best esoteric books that has ever been printed. You go over to the Patreon page and listen to the audio book. It's 7 hours long. So it's well worth the investment to listen to this audio book. It's Keys to Inner Space. Like I said, it's out of print. The only way you could get it is through the Patreon page right now. So yeah, with that being said, Red, I also want to ask you, when we talk about music and when we're critiquing the younger generation for doing drugs, one thing, if we're going to be honest, Red, we know that drugs and music go hand in hand.
That's right.
I remember I told the family when me and Cambatta came back and made Holy Ghost 2. The first song on the album we made was Shaka Zulu. And I remember me and Cam, I didn't see him in a while, and we linked up. I was like, "That was good, my brother." I had a big bottle of Don Julio tequila. Spirit. And me and Cam, the spirits, me and Cam drank that whole bottle of Don Julio tequila. And we just got in the spirit, I made the beat, and out of nowhere, Cam was just like, Shaka Zulu. And I was like, "Yo, what you said?" And he was like, Shaka Zulu. And he started mumbling that. And I was like, yo, that shit is crazy. But the point I'm trying to make is that music really, drugs seem to just, I don't know, it just really seems to inspire musicians. So talk to me about, it's not just this generation. This shit's been going on forever with drugs and musicians. So are we overreacting to this music and drugs marriage that's going on?
Well, the marriage between music and hallucinogenics and, what people identify as drugs, because let's keep in mind that you have plant-based medicines, right? You have plant-based medicines that elicit hallucinogenic, results, such as ayahuasca, right? Such as the bufu, the MEO5-DMT, such as the magic mushrooms, right? Grown from the earth, natural, not made in the lab, right?
Right.
Then you have lab-made pharmacopoeia is what we call it, right? where they have aspects of the original plant kingdom, but it's definitely stripped down and turned into something, you know, of a chemical composite that doesn't sit right with your body. So
somebody just said the Beatles' White Album was made under LSD.
under LSD, that's right. And you know, the power of music, right? The universal power of music, the suggestive power, you know, the hypnotic power, the empowering power of music. It could elicit emotion. It can make you cry. It can make you angry. It can make you march to war, you know. To infuse that with, I would say, a hallucinogenic mind, because when you tap in, regardless if you on the Molly, regardless if you on the lean, these are all opiates, right? These opiates are been, because I've never done the opiates, so I can't relate to the high like that. But it's been said that the opiates, you know, it's like a orgasmic feeling, okay? And people who are, you know, in pain or depressed, but these are all depressants that they're putting in lean, right? So when we talk about the level of when we talk about the type of drugs that are being used, that's when we could begin to differentiate, you know, the effects of said drug and the dangers of said drug. Now, when artists were talking about doing mushrooms, smoking weed, you know, a little bit of acid here and there, you know what I'm saying, some LSD here and there, you know, the heroin, that the opiate was there, right? It was always there. We have to remember, even jazz, some of my father's most beloved musicians that I grew up listening and I listen to this day, they were on that horse. They was on the Doogie. They were on that Doogie hard body, right? This was a tactic of managers to even hook their artists on heroin, to control them, things of that nature, and have the ability to rob them and whatnot and string them out. So today, fast forward to where we're at right now in this current day reality, where the babies who some of these children are born already addicted to, you know, with addictive personalities and whatnot, because of being born to a parent who was already addicted to a substance, right? These children are dealing with opiates that can kill you straight up. In the last 2 days, I've seen interviews by Meek Mill, right? And I've seen an interview with Boozy on Vlad. And both of them were appealing to their generation, to the youth, to the hip hop generation, to stop putting Russian roulette to their head every time that they deal with these pills and this mud. Because you know, they were like, yo, it could really kill you, bro.
Yeah, that lean, so, I heard that lean addiction is serious, man.
Yeah, and that lean will wipe you out.
Yeah.
And it will break your body down. You know, you're not supposed to have the pregnant belly. You feel me? In your 20s and 30s. So, you know, drug usage, man's proclivity to narcotics, or what they call drugs, or what I call sacraments, right? And once again, plant-based medicines that would take you into altered state or put you in a hallucinogenic state, right? Or even heal you. This has been a practice of man even before they were outlawing it during the Inquisition and coming, you know, all of these arcane witch hunts where they try to outlaw our medicine and then call it drugs. But, you know, I'm not a proponent of these chemicals that are in labs, like, you know, crack, you know what I'm talking about? opiates, all of the pills and whatnot. No, because the results of what I'm saying that we could go to, if you're depressed, a healing herb or a healing drug or something to tap into to heal would be the ayahuasca, would be the bufu, it would be the mushrooms. There's things that you could tap into if you want to meet God, if you want to get off of depression, if you want to get away from anxiety. I don't think that it's Xanny Percocets and Molly's.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you before we end it. Like I said, this is just a real quick interview, family. Once again, if you're in the Baltimore area, make sure, let me put it on the screen.
Skirt. Yeah, come shop with me too. We got
yeah, he's gonna have Kings County Clothing. Tomorrow, Saturday, December 21st, 7 to 10 p.m. The Weaponization and Hip Hop featuring Red Pill and Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Make sure you come out if you're in the Baltimore, Maryland area. For more info, call 410-303-4120. Also shout out to Copper Child Mike with the hat. He gave me this hat. So shout out to that brother with the crown. He calls him the crown. So shout out to that brother. Make sure you support that brother. Just type in his name. Well, do you know his Instagram handle, Red Pill?
It's the letter I.
Skate NY.
Oh, yeah, NY. I seen it get displayed on the Yada Mean podcast with
Lord Jamal.
Yeah, he had the copper crowns on display.
Dope. Yeah, family. So make sure you support that brother. And also, Red, just to end the show, family, for those who came late, I know a lot of people, we haven't been on that long. We only been on about 20-something minutes. For those who are just coming in, I will be on live at 11 o'clock with Billy Carson. So I'm going to end this broadcast with Red after this question, after he answers this question. Then I'm going live with the brother Billy Carson, and we're going to go in deep on some metaphysical stuff. So you guys could come right back for that in a couple of minutes. So with that being said, also hit up the Cash App, family. Make sure you guys hit up the Cash App. Support independent media. Keep this thing of ours going on. We see how much we influence in the masses. We see how important what we're talking about is. So make sure you support independent media, support Brother Rich, and hit up the Cash App. I just posted the link in the chat. Red, so we're about to go into 2020. The old way, the old gatekeepers are gone in hip hop. We no longer have to watch MTV to see the newest video, and we don't have to sell our soul to a record label to get signed. We could sign ourselves. We could distribute music ourselves. We got iTunes. We got all types of independent media on the internet everywhere. But for whatever reason, if we call it hip hop and we're talking about Black culture, for whatever reason, DJ Vlad, let me just name two names: DJ Vlad, Adam 22,
No Jumper.
Mm-hmm. Still, no gatekeepers, but these individuals who are outside of the culture still kind of run hip hop in a sense that the biggest names go there because they know that the story will get out to the masses if they go there. When Omarion wanted to talk about his baby moms, he went to DJ Vlad. Because and we're not talk about her, but when he finally responded and said something, he was on Vlad. When you want your word to get out there, you know if you go on Vlad, it's going to reach a lot of people. So talk to me, how is this still going on in terms of what we call outsiders still being at the top of the food chain in hip hop culture when there isn't no gatekeepers no more?
Well, when it comes to Black media, first and foremost, to bring about what would be Vlad's competition, I would assume it would be the Shade Room. It would be the what's that, MTO Worldwide or something? What's that?
That's more no. They're more gossip. This is 50 with the brother with the eye, the lazy eye. He's more like a interviewer.
Well, this is 50. World Star, when they were at their heights, when Q was alive, right? World Star was the platform where artists, labels, and brands would break, right? It was more of that platform. They would break videos and stuff. The World Star, Vlad, you know, stayed in the game, right? Remember when Forbes DVD was doing what Vlad was doing?
Once again, that was more gossip, right? Wasn't that? I'm not sure. What was it?
Putting out stories. They would put, because Vlad is an aggregator. He's basically tapping into the same whatever feed other hip hop channels are getting. Nah Right, Rap Radar, you know, all of these channels. Remember, you still got Elliot Wilson with Rap Radar, right?
Mm-hmm.
AA was with the other night. Shout out to the God. You have Nah Right. You had sites. You had allhiphop.com. Thisis50.com. All of these people were in the same field of Vlad. Keep that in mind. With World Star being at the crown, World Star was the top. You know what I mean? When it came to like traffic, views, even through the metrics. I used to follow World Star through Alexa before it became a device. It was a metrics site. So Vlad, whatever formula he's developed, remember, he's not there when there's interviews. In case the family don't know, he's not physically there, right? All of his interviews is being done the same way that we're doing this interview right now, through a device, right? And he set up he got locations set up to where, you know, he has an LA location, a New York location, and I think a down south location. They send out for these artists and whatnot. These artists and come sit down, and based off of the research that him and his team is doing, he's asking them certain questions, and they're actually answering it. He knows when certain books are coming out, so he's getting a jump on some of these other people like Star. Did Star have a channel like that before?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
But basically, Vlad is just a savvy businessman. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I savvy could be a word.
You know, Ray, let me ask your opinion before you answer that. Just from what I remember, before I started my show with Griff, this was before Zaza Ali came on the scene, and
Facts.
I told Griff about that I wanted to start a show.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And I told Griff, I said, yo, the inspiration for the show was actually DJ Vlad's formula with Lord Jamal.
Yep.
So one thing I will say about Vlad, before the whole woke thing took over after the police shootings and Obama and everything, and everybody became woke or died woke or whatever.
Yeah.
Vlad took the conscious route or decided to take the risk with a conscious speaker before anybody else in the mainstream or anybody else that had a big platform like that. Of course, people who were didn't have a huge platform, they was always doing that. But Vlad allowed Lord Jamal to come on his platform way before the whole woke trend or the whole woke thing took over.
Was Griff doing that with somebody before that?
I don't know.
Was Griff doing that with somebody?
I don't know.
Yeah, people don't give Lord Jamal his credit, right? They don't give him his flowers. He's not receiving.
Bro, Lord Jamal and Vlad
he was
changed.
An actor. Niggas knew him for being an actor. They did not know nothing about Brand Nubian. Like young people and people, they didn't know Lord Jamal had no knowledge of self. They didn't know any of the depths of that. They knew that this was the nigga from the Oz. That son from the Oz, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get more credit than he gets, because that formula to him, remember, he built that platform, especially when it come to them interviews and stuff. There wasn't nothing going on before Lord Jamal. Once again, I could give you the origin story of so many powerful platforms, powerful brands, and you find us always there being the divine spark. in the beginning. It's always
wow.
it's always our battery that they get they charge off of. That's why they got niggas buried. They got niggas as skeletons buried in the cornerstones of mad buildings. Like, we are the divine spark. You know,
man. Red, listen, man. I can't wait for tomorrow, my brother. I don't want you to give all the gems away.
I didn't even talk. Yeah, this
was light. This was super light, right?
Very light. You know,
super light. Once again, let me share this flyer with the family. My brother Red Pill, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, will be in Baltimore, Maryland tomorrow, Saturday, December 21st. Red Pill will have the Kings County clothing, his whole collection on display tomorrow. Make sure you come out if you're on the East Coast and support the brother. All right. But with that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Make sure you support the Cash App. Didn't get any support yet, but I definitely know y'all support whenever y'all can. So I definitely appreciate it regardless. It'll definitely come. Red, what you want to leave the people with before the lecture tomorrow? What can they look forward to for the weaponization of hip hop, my brother?
Showing them right now. These are some, you know, we're going to get into everything. You know, we're going to get into a lot of stuff that's been going on because, look, all of our greats died from overdoses. Prince died from an opiate overdose. Michael Jackson died from an overdose. ODB died.
You don't think that was a lie? The whole Prince thing and MJ, they was
even if they got killed, even if they were killed, it's still an overdose is still a murder, right? It's still you getting killed. Right. However they got taken out, it was through the quote unquote opiates. It was through these pills. It was through these drugs. Now you got these young musicians, you know, these people who are dying. Look, Mac Miller, Fredo, Santana, ASAP Yams. These are the brain trusts of their organizations. These are the Svengalis of their crews. Mac Miller, Juice WRLD. I don't know if people know how instrumental Juice WRLD was. You know what I'm talking about?
Like, man, I forgot about Fredo Santana or Fredo. I forgot about that brother. Yeah,
Fredo died. Fredo is a legend in Chicago. So the lean, that's not, you know, look at what happens. Abdominal cramps, nausea, dilated pupils, diarrhea, vomiting, sweating, aching muscles, sleeping difficulties. Nigga, just drink some sea moss. What are you doing? You can't afford this nigga. He had a seizure and he shitted in his bed, bro. Like, this is not cute. Look at this is old Lil Wayne. Wait till I show you new Lil Wayne. So this is about health is wealth. That's why I choose to do this lecture with a scientist, a brother who brings scientific data to the you know, when it comes to the marijuana and some of the other research. And I'm gonna bring information and research, scientific information, just gonna show the facts that they're weaponizing. Like, this is something that they have 7th and 8th graders now drinking lean and popping opioids because that's the wave. Because these multi-million-dollar companies will sign a 17-year-old with an opiate addiction at a time when they say America is in the grips of an opiate addiction. Does that make sense?
Right.
That's not weaponization. I didn't even get into Tekashi, but, you know, we'll get into that tomorrow. That's a weaponized. That was one of the illest weaponizations of hip hop that you've seen to close the decade out, where they federalized hip hop forever now. They stamped it. It's broken. It's almost similar to the scene in The Matrix when Cypher sold out Zion and he let Agent Smith come in. And Agent Smith broke Zion, and he allowed the Sentinels to break in and destroy that thing. Niggas let Tekashi in, right? He's a virus. You know what I'm talking about? They let him in. He sold out whatever secret organization that he took an oath to. And the feds is inside of hip hop now, the same way that they was in Zion snooping around. And going into 2020, you know, you'll see what happens, but it'll never be the same. You know.
I always say I'm gonna end it, then I have another question. Quick question before we end it, Red. Once again, family, I'm gonna end this broadcast with Red, and I'm coming right back on with the brother Billy Carson, and we're gonna go deep into metaphysics. So just stay tuned. Brother Richard be right back with Billy Carson. Log in, and you're gonna get some high-powered spiritual information in a couple of minutes. Oh, and shout out to Angela Sales for the donation, Cash App. Make sure you hit up the Cash App. I'm posted one more time. Yeah, shout out to Angela Sales for the donation. I definitely appreciate it. Red, so as an artist, as Red Pill, somebody may say, yo, we don't like you cursing, or we seen you on your live stream. We don't like you smoking weed on your live stream on your channel.
That's right.
Should the masses, should you be, that may be authentic to who you are, to your being. So you change what's authentic to your being and who you are because you have millions or hundreds of thousands of people watching you? Do you ever feel that pressure? And I'm personalizing it because this makes this idea more real of what we're talking about with hip hop, because these people are just like us, and we're telling them they should do this. We're giving them rules to live by, but deep down inside, none of us want rules to live by. So
are we giving them rules? What are we saying?
Well, we're telling them that certain things they do are inappropriate. We're telling Nicki Minaj cut all that twerking shit out. We're telling Cardi B, cut all that stripping shit out. We're telling
Wait, cut all that pregnant twerking out, Cardi. You know, FYI.
Well, we're giving rules to entertainers about how they should live. So shout out to Christopher Ford for the donation. But if you don't like it, Red Pill, what makes you think they like it, my brother?
What do you mean if I don't like it?
Well, I'm sure you want to have a certain amount of freedom in terms of you get in the zone. And when you get in the zone, sometimes a curse word, it flows right. Or maybe you want to smoke marijuana because that's what you do. And it's your channel, it's your platform, but they'll tell you that's inappropriate, cut it out.
Okay, so well, I would say
you don't like rules, what makes you think they like rules?
Definitely. I would say that being myself and being free is very instrumental and important to me.
As is everybody.
Huh?
As it is to everybody.
So my freedom of choice is, you know, I want to be able to be myself. I want to be comfortable in my skin, being me, right? Now, there's something called Hollywood where they have $1 million paychecks for me to be somebody else. And, you know, I'm willing to give them a year or two of my life, not necessarily Hollywood, maybe Bali or Nolly, you know, whatever. But I'm willing to give about 2 years of my life being a character, and not just for the money, not just for the bag, because the real bag is the finished product, which was going to last more. It's going to go further than the quote unquote check that's going to be cut. You know what I mean? The real money is the movie that's being made. So, you know, everything is about image at the end of the day. If you're portraying a certain image, then stay with your, you know, stay true to that. Be who you are, you know. And if you're putting on for the people, then goddamn it, by all means, put on. You feel me? Because there's people that are out here that do a good job of putting on. I know personally, you know, they do a great job of putting on. They put on a mask. Like they said in the Watchmen season finale, you cannot heal by wearing a mask. You got to let your shit breathe, you know? So at 44 years old, if I cannot smoke my trees and, you know, be very spicy in my language, you know, and in moderation, of course. That's very important. You know, when it's not done in moderation, then I'm open to criticism or constructive criticism. But, you know, I'm not hiding, you know, what I do. So I'm not ashamed. And if there's somebody who says I'm not hiding being a junkie, I'm going to go live, nodding and whatnot, or I'm not going to hide being a hoe. I'm not going to hide being a harlot, excuse me. Or I'm not going to hide being this kind of way. This world that we live in, and especially this age that we live in right now, the narrative is about expression, is it not?
Indeed, indeed.
Is it not the universe screaming out, you know, express yourself?
Facts.
So you know, I would tell people what this consciousness has done for me more than anything else is made me accept me for who I am, you know, and I'm cool with that.
All right, leave your contact info, my brother, so the people.
Yeah, Cash App, $, Phil Moreland, MORELAND, Red Pillar /Patreon, and yeah, Kings County Bay Cartel. All right. I look forward to meeting some of the family tomorrow. Like I said, I encourage people to witness history. Don't just watch it. Don't just be a viewer on the outside. You know, see people face to face, take pictures with them, meet them. You know, that's what I do. I go to all lectures because I know that they're great people amongst me. And I stop everything that I'm doing and make sure whenever they came to New York, is that a fact, Rich? You know what I mean? Rich will pull up to all, because look at the master teachers that are not, you know, that are not even with us anymore. But we've been there. We witnessed them. You know, we didn't watch them. We witnessed them. So come and witness history, you know, and you know, pull up.
Oh, and shout out to Sci-Fi. I forgot to say shout out to Sci-Fi for the moderating and all the support. So definitely shout out to Sci-Fi. Definitely show her love every time y'all see her family in the chat. With that being said, like I said, family, come right back. I'm gonna take a quick 10-minute break. Come right back. I'm gonna go live with Billy Carson in about 10 to 15 minutes. Red Pill, we gonna see you tomorrow, my brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.